What's going on, everyone? Today we are going to look at the ready function in jQuery. Now, this is just going to be the basics of how it works and the main uses. So first of all, the ready function is going to run once the document object model, or the DOM, is basically ready for JavaScript code to execute, versus the load function, which will run once the entire page, including images or iframes, are all ready, not just the DOM. So let's take a look at it. So we'll create our HTML file, our CSS file, and our jQuery file. Next, you'll need the jQuery library file. If you need this file or don't have it already, I can give a link in the description.
So let's just start off by making an HTML page.
And we'll include our CSS file and our jQuery files. Alright, and that's all we need. So basically we're just including the CSS and the jQuery. Later on I'll just add a little bit of excitement on the page. But so now we are ready to talk about the ready function. So in jQuery, this is your jQuery object notation. So if we have document ready, so when the DOM is ready to execute, it can run code within. Oftentimes what people like to do is do an anonymous function, meaning a function without a name, and that will be invoked immediately and execute the code. So for example, what you could do is console.log. So we'll do ready. And we can look at that. There we go. So the page is loaded, and obviously it's going to be ready. There's nothing else going on. So there is also another way of even like another notation for this, and it's actually very short. So the shorthand for it is that. So very simple. I mean, it's not that much shorter, but yeah, whatever. But that's what that means. If you ever see this, it's the document ready. Now we are doing an anonymous function. Anonymous, it's always anonymous. But let's look at a named function being put in there. For example, we'll call it docReady. And what this function will do is a console log ready. And let's actually do something fun here. We will make a button. Okay, and it'll just say click. What we can do is append it to the body of the DOM. Never done append before. Here you go. So it's just going to add it to the end of the body. So now we have this named function, and rather than doing an anonymous function here, we just give it the name of this function, not a function call like this, but just the name. And this is again the shorthand for document.ready. Okay, so let's look at that. There we go. Now, so we've seen, we understand that ready will run when the DOM is ready to execute JavaScript, not necessarily a fully loaded page or window. And we've seen the shorthand for document ready, which is this. And the next thing we can do is some CSS, just to spice up this video. So this page is dull, and who wants to look at that? Let's do a background image gradient. And I'm going to speed this up here. So this is how you could do a background gradient. So that'll look like this. So it's going from left to right. And this is just this is for the cross-browser compatibility. You just want to make sure that one of these will work in whatever browser someone is looking at it in. Next, let's do the button. So we'll make a class called button, shorthand there. And I'm also going to speed it up here because it's going to be the same exact thing. Okay, there we go. So we've also made the cursor a pointer. We have a gradient going from yellow to green from top to bottom. We will have a border radius. I chose a font family for the button, and this is just going to be a white color. Font size, padding on the button, and a text decoration of none. Don't necessarily need that, it's typing. Okay, next we have to put that on our button. So when we add this button here, which happens when the DOM is ready, we're going to put on the class button. Let's take a look. There we go. And now we should also add a hover. So I'm just going to highlight this and copy it. A little less typing, but we're going to change it up. So on hover, we're going to change a few things.
And I wouldn't recommend typing in the color names. I would normally do either the hex values or RGB or RGBA. It was just faster to type for this. And there is a different gradient on hover.
And again, we looked at essentially 4 different ready examples. So we have regular document ready with an anonymous function. We saw the shorthand of that. We saw if we made a named function called document ready, we could then invoke it inside the document ready and the shorthand. And the 4 different examples, when run, act independently and would create something like this straight down the page. So we've appended 4 different buttons with those 4 different examples. They all work the same, they're all doing the same thing, just different notation. We also looked at a CSS gradient on both a background from left to right and a button from top to bottom, and an on hover. I hope that helped you understand jQuery's ready function. And if you haven't seen it before, you also had a chance to do some CSS gradient.